It was a bit touch and go, wasn't it? But we just managed to get through. Was it ever really in doubt? I tell you what, we'll break it down on Beyond the Whistle. Hello, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Whistle with me and hi, Grace.
Ah, you're right.
Yeah, it's Grace Wild, everybody. How are we doing, Grace? You all right?
I am tired. Tired. It's Thursday. It's the idea of staying up to watch the game on Monday is terrifying me. Are you planning to do that?
I have Monday off work.
Oh, you
How,
lucky, lucky so and so.
how lucky does it fall? So yeah, I'm gonna yeah, I think I'm probably gonna try and watch it.
Yeah, that's my yeah. I'm gonna try and watch it. I'm hoping for a miracle and that the school that I work in understand that pretty much every child is going to also try and watch it. And say that we can come in a bit later, but that would be a miracle. So yeah.
What's your plan? Are you gonna try and watch it, stay up and go to work, or are you gonna try and get a nap in the middle?
Okay, here's the thing. It's Norway Brazil first, isn't it? At 9 o'clock.
Wow.
I have to watch that. So I'm looking at napping between the hours of 11 and 1 a.m. No, probably half 12. Then
Okay.
getting up, attempting to watch it, and then trying to get a few more hours in. Now, it is a Sunday beforehand, so I will have a fat nap on Sunday, just spacing out my sleep. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to try and have the same amount of time, but just space it out. And then I will hopefully not be a zombie on Monday.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. Good plan. Right, before we get into the England game, which we are going to get into, we've got a little bit of other stuff to talk about. I know I've not really prepped you on this again, Grace. I'm just throwing it out there. Does anybody know, because we've lost something and we really need to find it? Does anybody know where Tottenham have gone? Because this isn't the Tottenham that we all know. What is going on with Tottenham Hotspur, Grace?
It's starting to scare me now. Right. Let me just say, you've paid 85 million pounds for a player that's been relegated 2 seasons in a row.
Yes, I think I can defend it.
Go
I've
on.
pre-warned you where I've not done any prep work, even though I've come to you with the question. So this might not make complete sense. Do I think we've overpaid? Yes. Is that Tottenham's fault? No. Is it the current market that we're working in? Yes, absolutely. Would Man United, if they had the funds for it, because I don't think they do with the whole stadium, that they're bringing out a new stadium and stuff, are they? Would if they had the funds for it, would they have paid 85 million to take him from away from Tottenham? Yes, I think they would have done because that's the market we're in. The flaw, the system is flawed. It's not Tottenham's fault. Yes, like I said, we've overpaid, but we've done it because we had to. If we didn't, we was gonna lose into United probably at a cheaper fee because you'll know better than I do. You're not in a position where you can't turn that sort of money down, regardless of if it was 85 or if Man United were it down to 65. You're probably going to have to take it. So I think Tottenham have done what they've had to do to get the player over the line.
Honestly, I think because you factor in that relegation um, discount, if you like to call it that, you are naturally selling a player for cheaper because you've been relegated because people know you need the funds. But would I have been happy with 65 million? I probably would have been, to be honest with you. 85 million pounds. I'm almost not upset that Tottenham have bought him. Do you know what I mean? Like, look, I don't like the fact that we sell to Tottenham now. I don't. The Kudus thing was the sort of catalyst of that anger. I don't feel angry necessarily. I look at Mateus Fernandez, he's 21, 22. He's an extraordinary player. He shouldn't be in the championship. He absolutely should be getting a Premier League move. And he probably should be going to a team like Tottenham. Um, I'm not angry at him. He's got no sort of tie to West Ham necessarily now. Um, and we were relegated. I don't think we can be that judgmental of selling players when you've been relegated. It still hurts a tiny bit. I'd have preferred him to go to Man United just because I'm a West Ham fan. But I'll be honest with you, I'm happy with the 85 million in my back pocket. Not in my back pocket, but in West Ham's back pocket.
Yeah, I think as well when it comes to Fernandez. I don't think it's going to be a case of he's going to be at Tottenham forever. He's probably looking at this thinking, this is an opportunity where I can play well under De Zerbi for a year, 2 years, probably get a move to a bigger club. I'm not saying definitely, but like a Madrid or a Bayern or something
Mhm.
like that. Because he's got the ceiling to reach that sort of level. So I don't think he'll be at Tottenham forever. But yeah, I think that's maybe why he's made the step. And you're right, he's not a championship player. And I think, but like I said, that's why Tottenham have paid the 85 million. Because, and you know what, I'm kind of glad to see it. It's funny because all these years of being under Daniel Levy where we've not spent anything, fans have been going, "Why aren't we spending? Why aren't we spending?" And then all of a sudden we spend everything in one window, and everyone's going, "Chill out, we're spending too much money." I'm like, "You can't. What do you want?" Like football fans, man, they're the worst people on the planet.
They're impossible to please. Impossible to please. I look at it, it's not my money.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly.
Couldn't give a shit.
It's obviously Tonali, like 100 million. That's pretty much over the line. Wow, I think it comes to 100 million, including the add-ons and stuff, doesn't it? I think the was it
Yeah,
around
something like
90
that.
something? But yeah, wow, mental. But again, we wanted him. We got him in. Arsenal was sniffing around, Man City was sniffing around. We did what we had to do to get him off the line. I think have we talked about Marcus Dubravka?
No, I don't think we have.
Yeah, obviously he's signed for Tottenham as well, which apparently we're also still looking at like James Trafford. I don't think that's the case because we've given Kinski a new contract as well. So
Okay.
I think he would be our new number one. I think he did fantastic under them last 7 games for De Zerbi. We was waxing lyrical on here about how well he's bounced back since that Champions League with Tudor. Um, I think the Trafford talk is more from his sort of agency, maybe using Tottenham because Tottenham are out spending in the market and they're trying to get a move. I think Newcastle are sniffing around James Trafford as well, so I think they're trying to leverage Tottenham's name into getting Trafford a move. But yeah, I think Dubravka, I think it's a signing that will help Kinski more than help the squad. Do you know what I mean? He's there to help Kinski and teach him the ways rather than come in and challenge him for number one. I think. Um,
I think I think uh, on the surface it looks like a what why does that come from? Do you know what I mean? It looks like one of those type of signings. But actually you're right. If you're gonna put that trust in Kinski, Dubravka is one of those goalkeepers that can be that sort of coaching role to make Kinski better. But also there's nothing wrong with for a season trusting in Kinski, giving him the go, giving him a chance to be, Tottenham's number one for the next 4 or 5 years. But even if that doesn't work out, Dubravka is very experienced and also in the position where he can play week in, week out. So you've almost, yeah, your preference is going to be Kinski showing up and doing what he did in the latter stages of last season and being number one. But it's also not the end of the world if you have Dubravka in goal because he is a very, very capable goalkeeper.
Yeah, well, it's giving like similar vibes to when we signed Joe Hart and Fraser Foster and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? They can come in and do a job, but they are there to sort of lean on the younger keeper. I think that is. Oh, have you seen that we're also linked with Krupi Junior?
You're joking me.
90 million Bournemouth want, and 90 million Tottenham what? Sorry, Bournemouth want 90 million. Tottenham are not phased by that allegedly.
What's
It's
happened?
mental, isn't it? It's mental.
I'm not okay with it.
There's another player that we're linked with as well from oh somewhere you'll know it. Soon once I remember the name, you'll know it. But it's a fairly big name. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. We're still talking with uh Savinha from Man City as well. There's
Mhm.
rumours of Marmoush as well. I don't know what's going on. Obviously, we can't sign all these players. We've got to let some go. But yeah, the what we have done so far and the leaks. I always wanted to get your thoughts on it because it's mental what's going on at the minute.
It is, and I think in general it's a positive thing. But and this is my neutral head talking now, because if it was my West Ham head, there is an element of this is pissing me off a bit. But from a neutral point of view, there is also an element of okay, you're going to get these signings in, wonderful. Are they going to gel? Do we need to hold back a minute, see how they are? Okay, we've got new people, we're building a new squad, right? Wonderful. Let's just take the individuals we've already signed, maybe add one or two more, see how they get on chemistry wise. You know, that money isn't going to disappear. If you've got that money now, you can spend that money in January. And yes, I know January is a harder market because people, aren't selling or it's just more difficult in the summer. But I think if you have that list of priorities, and I do think you guys have prioritized and you've worked out what it is that you actually need, and I think that midfield rebuild is exactly what you were looking for. You've signed defenders, all that sort of stuff. I think you're now building the foundations, but you are also potentially on the brink of doing too much and it just being a bunch of individuals who can't play together. And I think there's excitement, but they also need to gel because you're nothing if you're not a gelled team.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. I think De Zerbi does have the capacity to make them players gel together. I think under Frank or Tudor or whoever was going to get in, I don't think would be signing any. I don't. Well, to be honest, I don't think we'd be in the Premier League right now. But I don't think we'd be signing these players that we are. So I think De Zerbi's got a big pull on that. So I would imagine that they're all willing to gel together. But it's easy saying that. You got to do it on the pitch, aren't you? So let's wait and see. Should we talk
Can
a
I
little?
ask a question?
Yeah, of course, go for it.
From your point of view, because I don't want to see this happen, but that's just because I'm me. Um, Obviously, De Zerbi has a very good relationship with Mason Greenwood. How would you feel about him being linked to Tottenham?
Yeah, now, mate. Um,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to see it. I think when De Zerbi was appointed, we actually spoke on the podcast about this, and especially about De
Yes.
Zerbi. De Zerbi came out and made comments, and I defended De Zerbi because I said, look, at the end of the day, he's not done anything wrong, so I've got no problem with De Zerbi being there, and I understand why he defended Mason Greenwood. Whether I agree with it or not, that's a different conversation. When it comes to actual Greenwood himself, I don't think he can ever play the Premier League again, mate. Simple as that, really. In terms of if a club was willing to take that on the abuse he's going to get from the fans. I mean, at the end of the day, in the eyes of the law, he wasn't guilty. You know what I mean? Because she didn't press, or did she drop the charges, or didn't press them, or whatever. So it's I don't think any club's going to want to touch that. To be honest with you, I don't think he'll want to come back because the abuse is mental. Um, but yeah, we have actually rumours that we've been linked with him, but Tottenham have come out and said whatever links you've heard between Tottenham and Greenwood, absolutely no chance. So I think
Okay.
yeah, yeah, I wouldn't be happy though. Put it that way.
I didn't want to put you in a difficult situation, but it is just the reality of De Zerbi being your boss and having that pull. At what point is he pulling the strings and that being a string he pulls? Do you know what I mean? And I imagine he sort of read the room, if you like, and understood that that's not going to happen. But you never know in football. They're the type of things that pop up randomly, and you go, "Oh my God."
Yeah, 100%. Because people were kicking off about De Zerbi being appointed, let alone bringing in Mason Greenwood. So yeah, like you said, I think he's read the room and he's thought, yeah, I'm not really going to touch that one. I don't think Tottenham would want to. It's just too much bad PR for any club in it, really.
Yeah,
You don't need that hanging over you. So yeah, I mean, I also want to give credit where it's due as well because I've given a lot of stick to like Vinay Venkatesham and stuff like that, and um,
mhm.
I don't know if we've spoken about this off screen or something, but I definitely spoke to somebody about it. I'm willing to give him another season because I think the surrounding that was going on around the club wasn't just down to him. When it comes to Lange, I still want him out of the club. I think he's useless. But from what I'm hearing from the club, the basically De Zerbi's turned around and said, "Don't get a sporting director. Just let me handle the transfers for now." And he's working
Mhm.
with Vinay Venkatesham, and that's where these signings are coming from, which I love. The only worrying part is if De Zerbi, because he's known for this, if he throws his toys out the pram 6 months down the line, we're stuck with a load of players that De Zerbi's brought in, and where do we go from there? So it's
Yeah.
yeah, be careful. But because De Zerbi's got a reputation, hasn't he, for just walking out of a club when he's not happy. Um, but yeah, credit where it's due. Vinay and the Lewis family, they'll come out with this statement. They said we can't be having this. We're going to sort ourselves out, and they have. Or it's looking like that way anyway. So we've never seen this from Tottenham, have we? This is unprecedented. So yeah, let's just see what happens. I'm sure we'll do a deep dive into all the transfer talks anyway when it comes to the end of the World Cup. But should we talk about the World Cup anyway?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So we are going to focus mainly on England again. We'll just touch on some of the little games that have gone by. Brazil and Japan. I fell in love with Japan during this World Cup. I've said that from ages ago from that friendly about how good Japan can be, and I think they've really sort of held their heads high. When they went 1 up against Brazil as well, I thought, oh, they could do this. But yeah, Brazil just turned it on in the second half.
Yeah, I was disappointed for Japan. I think I've been really impressed with them so far because they have had injuries and they've dealt with them quite well. It's almost been a case of okay, yeah, individuals are missing, but our game plan is so good, our structure, our discipline is so good that it almost doesn't matter. I feel it was at this stage in the competition where it did matter, if you know what I mean. It needed that moment of madness from maybe someone like Matoma. It needed that spark, and you do need that in the latter stages of a World Cup. When you get into that knockout stage, like we found last night, and we'll get onto it with Harry Kane, you need that star that is just going to pull something out of the bag. I have to say, I wasn't expecting Martinelli to be the Brazil's hero.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. We are gonna rattle through these, but Germany won, Paraguay won. Yeah, a bit of a shock that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, Netherlands as well. They've gone home early to Morocco. There was some controversy in this one, wasn't
Yeah, but I haven't seen the controversy. It was right, okay, so this was the night that I was going on a school trip really early in the morning. So I wasn't able to actually look at anything that happened because I literally left my house at 5:30. So I couldn't, and I didn't get back till sort of 6 o'clock. So I couldn't like work out what had happened, but I knew something controversial had happened. So what happened?
Oh no, I couldn't tell you. I didn't watch it. I couldn't tell you what happened.
We're useless, we are.
Yeah. Joys of working these stupid hours, isn't it? But I think it was something to do with the penalty late on. I think. Yeah, I don't know. From what I've heard, anyway, the quality of the penalties in the penalty shootout were horrendous. That's
Yes.
it. That's I've heard a lot about that. Ivory Coast lost to Norway. Uh, Haaland again, and he's just what a World Cup he's having.
There's
Um,
that superstar thing though. There's that star quality that
yeah.
just pops out and it's the important part.
Well, it's good because, like, well, again, I'm going to talk about obviously France have knocked out Sweden, but Mbappe, do you know what I mean? It's good. I'm happy that everybody has just turned up for this World Cup. You know what I mean? We've seen
Yeah.
Mbappe, we've seen Haaland, we've seen Harry Kane's absolutely turned it on. In terms
Messi, Ronaldo.
of Messi, well, yeah, Ronaldo, we'll see about him, but it's good. It is good to see the big boys like running the show.
I tell you that have you seen the table for the Golden Boot? You just think this is a World Cup that, the next World Cup is almost certainly going to have Messi and Ronaldo in it. I feel like we've really got to enjoy this because obviously those names that you previously mentioned are going to be the ones that highlight the next few World Cups. You'd like to think maybe Harry Kane is in the latter stages of his career, but you never know. Um, I just think it's incredible that table of stars that we're seeing fighting for that Golden Boot, and like you said, them all turning up is just it's brilliant.
Yeah, France beat Sweden 3-0 on it, which did you get to see that one?
I did get to see that one, and I am just look. There's often multiple teams in the World Cup that you just love watching play football. And it doesn't often tend to be someone like France. Like I feel like there's quite a lot of negativity towards France as a nation in football. But I have to say, I am captivated by them. I look forward to every single game they play. Kylian Mbappe, I I cannot put into words how good of a footballer he is. He is phenomenal, and I just love watching him play football. I feel like a child again. I feel like I'm not analyzing it from okay, here's a mistake, here's this is what he needs to improve on. I feel like I'm just watching it going, wow. Do you know what I mean? And I've always felt that with Messi to some degree, and it's lovely to see Mbappe alongside that incredible attacking threat that France have. They are just a treat for the eyes.
I mean, I don't like Mbappe, but you can't deny how good he is. He's just incredible, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and in France in as a whole, like their squad is just a joke in it. Like you take off a Dembele and you've got Elise sit on the bench, or you know what I mean. You want Mbappe on. Oh my God, it's
Or
just
Ryan Cherky.
Ryan Cherky. My God, the depth is just a joke. Um, right, I think is that everything caught up? Have we got any? Oh no, we've got a few more, haven't we? Mexico 2, Ecuador 0. Mexico absolutely flying.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit more about them later on. Belgium 3, Senegal 2 as well. I think there was some controversy in this as well, wasn't there?
I mean, this was a mad one, really. I felt really bad for Senegal in this one
Yeah.
because it sort of reflected their AFCON final as well. It had that vibe to it. And, they were cruising at 2-0. Belgium sort of turned up to some degree in the second half, but you just knew as soon as they got that first one back, Belgium. There was far too much time for them to cause problems, and it was 2-2 before you know it, extra time, and then the penalty, Tielemans puts it away, and Senegal are out the World Cup.
Yeah, it is a shame. And I don't think Belgium have been outstanding either. You know what I mean? They're a bit similar to England. They've just sort of cruised by it, haven't they? But I
Yeah,
think that's it. We're pretty much are all caught up. So should we jump into England versus Congo?
we
Do
should.
you want to start with the lineups? We've been doing that, haven't we? Start with the lineups, and we'll go to some
Ooh.
talking points.
Yes, I am never, ever, ever prepared for this moment. I could probably rattle it off based on my memory, but I don't want to get it wrong. Um, so the England lineup, it started Pickford in goal, Jed Spence at right back. I think we both said that that was the way it was going to go because he is a right back. Constantine and then O'Reilly at left back. Anderson and Rice in the middle. Found out that Rice was actually out in the last game because of his yellow card, not because of any sort of injury. I still think he's carrying something, but yeah, that was apparently the decision-making process. Then Madueke on the right, Bellingham down the centre, Rashford on the left. I was pleased to see that, and then Kane up top.
Yeah. So two things. I think the Rice incident. He could have played him, couldn't he? He wasn't like obviously he wasn't suspended, but he was
No,
trying to risk another yellow card. Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. Um, And then the Spence thing, it's genuinely mental that how many people I'm seeing online that don't realise Spence is a right back. Like, how do you not understand this? Like, we haven't got a right back. Why have we only taken one? I'm like, we haven't only taken one. Spence is a right back. Like, how stupid you have to be. I don't know if I said last time about maybe because the C for Tottenham is being sort of shoehorned into the left back position, which he can play there, but he is a right back, and I don't. It baffles me every time I see him online, sort of ranting about it.
I don't think it helped by the goal that we conceded very early on yesterday. But I do want to break that down because I personally
Yeah,
don't want to sit here and say that's Jed Spence's fault.
we're gonna get onto that. We're going to get
Okay.
on to yeah, in terms of the lineups, yeah, I think it was kind of pretty much what we expected on it, really. Like we sort of said that that was what the lineups was going to be. So yeah, not really too many surprises. Anything you want to mention on that?
No, I mean, I would have liked to have seen Saka start, but I understand he's not fully fit, and you can tell he's not fully fit. Madueke started. Look, I'm not his biggest fan, Madueke. I've always liked him as a player. I used to compliment him quite a lot at Chelsea, but I just don't know what he brings necessarily to this England squad that isn't a level below Saka. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he brings anything different.
Uh,
And it just grinds my gears every time I see Madueke starting, and I just think, oh God, poor Jared Bowen. Do you know what I mean? I have to think like that because his stats were unbelievably better than Madueke's, and he's a completely different right winger, and I think we could have done with that.
yeah, I mean, I've got a lot to say about him. But just before we do jump into the England stuff, I want to remind you that this podcast is brought to you by Gemmy Media, your local media company. Well, I say local, actually, depends where you live. But it's a local media company for the East and the Midlands. Also, with this podcast, make sure you hit follow, like, subscribe, do everything that you need to do on whatever platform you are watching. I don't actually think I said that from the beginning, which probably should have done. But never mind, we've said it now. Yes, should we get into some of the talking points? Like, I'll let you break down each goal because I know you like doing that bit. You're good at that bit. But as a whole, this wasn't impressive, was it?
What the game?
Yes.
No,
Uh,
it,
from an
it, it was far from it.
England point of view. In fact, I'll tell you what where we will start because we did this with Ghana as well. Massive credit to Congo. I thought
100%.
they were fantastic. And can I just say, how is that keeper not a number one goalkeeper for whatever team? If he's the number two for that team, what is the number one like? He had the game of his life last night.
I, but there was a good few. I know he got most of the headlines because some of the saves he made were outstanding. But yeah, there was a good few who really worked their butts off. I mean, the one that comes to my head immediately is Tuan Zabi. He played out of his skin last night. It was brilliant.
Yeah, oh yeah, I thought Congo as a whole were really good. I mean, like I think this is going to be the most sort of notable player in that team because of the Premier League links and the ties there and stuff. But yeah, my God, that goalkeeper. I think you could argue that some of them were directly at him, but still some of the reactions that he made were.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for him, I think we could have been 3 or 4 nil up in that first half, or 3 or 4-1 up anyway. But yeah, massive credit to Congo. I thought you played really well. I think you can go home with your head held high anyway. And it's a shame that you're out, but Yeah, look, it is what it is. Should we talk about England then? Because I wasn't too impressed, Chris.
So, shall I break down this goal then?
Yeah, let's talk about the first goal from Congo because
Yeah.
yeah, I'll say is I think people are being very harsh on Spence. I think Madueke has not helped him out at all either there in terms of helping him out with the defending. I think he's been pulled across, and I think Pickford's got to do better.
Yes, I completely agree. I think I didn't even pick up on the Madueke thing, but I think you bang on other right wingers. You can't. The one thing I have to give Saka credit for is he does track back. He does put in that defensive. It's not needed as much. Of course, it's not, but you still need your winger to track back and help out with the defense sometimes. And this was a classic example of that. I mean, we were at sixes and sevens, weren't we? It was we sort of just fell for the trick, which was Gay and Conser just were distracted by somebody else. It drew Spence in because the biggest threat from the ball that went into, I'm sorry, I don't know the names of the Congo players, but the ball the assist, if you like,
It was
was
heading to the centre.
spectacular.
Yeah, it was heading to the centre of the box. It wasn't going out that wide.
No, it was not going out wide, and nobody was tracking him. So Spence had to drift in. He had to. He had no choice. Um, and I actually think he dealt with that threat well, if that makes sense. It was the fact that because he'd been drawn in, he had no help from other players. The person then on his side that he would usually be responsible for was left wide open, and I think you're absolutely right. I think Pickford could have done better.
Yeah, like people always say you shouldn't be getting beat at your near post. You absolutely can get beat at your near post. 100%
Mhm.
you can. If it's a good enough strike and it's low and it's powerful or whatever, of course you can get beat. But look, he gets a hand to it as well, and I think yeah, I think he does have to keep that one out. Which did we say something similar in the first game against Croatia where he probably should have made a save as well? I think maybe it's been overlooked that obviously this is the first tournament without Gareth Southgate. It's also the first tournament without Gareth Southgate's goalkeeper coach. They've changed the backroom staff as well, and I don't think
Mhm.
people sort of maybe realise it. And maybe he doesn't click with this goalkeeper coach as well as he did with the other one. And you don't know, like people just see it as walking on the pitch and doing your stuff. These players, especially goalkeepers, have to be they need to be on it all the time. You're there to stop the ball going in the back of the net, and goalkeeper coaches are so good at getting you hyped up before a game, so where you go out and you think, yeah, this is it, I'm ready for today. And maybe he just doesn't get that gel from the new goalkeeper coach under Tuchel.
Yeah, and like I've mentioned before, I also think it's the first tournament in a while where we've not had Maguire at the back. We've not had really big figureheads at the back. That we'll always remember that Maguire and Stone centre back partnership. They didn't win anything, but they were phenomenal together in multiple tournaments. And I do think that he doesn't trust his back line. That's the vibe that I get from him. And I do think that that's made him maybe a bit more erratic. Maybe it's affected his decision making. I imagine there's a load of different things that have affected it, including, like you said about the goalkeeper coach.
Yeah, 100%. Spence as a general, by the way, for this game, like I've seen a lot of people giving hit to Spence. I don't. Did he have a great game? No, of course he didn't. Did he have a good game? Probably not. But I don't think it's as bad as what people are
I
making.
agree.
People were giving him some dog's abuse, saying that I never want to see him play for England again. And I'm like, he wasn't that bad. Yes, he
No,
made the odd mistake. There was other players on that pitch that were far worse than what Spence was.
absolutely. I don't. I think he did an all right job.
Mm.
And if you're not going to have an extraordinary game, I at least want you to do all right. And I didn't come out of that game thinking Jed Spencer's a problem. I thought, okay, you're going to win a World Cup with Jed Spence? Maybe not. Maybe not at the moment, but he's not doing a bad job. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's doing a bad job, and I think it's a lot of those surface level football fans that don't look into a goal and all of the things that you and I just mentioned that really affect Jed Spence in his position, in his decision making, because of what the players around him are doing. I I just don't think there's people that consider that, and that's why they immediately go, "Oh, it was on Spencer's side, therefore it's his fault."
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the defense was all over the place anyway during this game. So I think it's very harsh to put it all onto one person. Um, I don't think I don't think Rice had a particularly good game. I know maybe you might try and defend him because obviously of your love for Declan Rice, but I don't think he had the best game. Looked very quite slow for most of that game.
I would say his best stint in that game was at right back.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I thought he did quite well at right back, to be honest with you. I know he doesn't like it, but he did a good job.
these people calling for him to start at right back for the next game in there, which I don't. You can't risk that. But
He doesn't want to.
no,
He's come out and said he doesn't. He'll do it to make the manager happy, but he doesn't like playing there, and I totally get it.
yeah, no, that's fair enough. I don't. Yeah, Rashford. We spoke about Rashford last time. I think it was the sort of same highlights that we had. It was the same problems that we highlighted last time in terms of greed. Is that the wrong word? Is it
Mm.
maybe it's the right word? I don't really know. Decision making, poor decision making. Maybe is a better way to sort of say it. But I've noticed as well with Harry Kane, I don't think he particularly likes playing next to Marcus Rashford, to be honest with you, because I've noticed he doesn't make the runs into the box because he knows the ball's not going there. He's constantly going to keep it on his right and then try and cut back the shot.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it, that Gordon comes on and Kane all of a sudden gets joy. That is really intriguing because Gordon and Rashford are very, very different players. Um, you know, uh, that's one of those statements, isn't it? When you say they're very different players, they're not that different, but they are. Like it's really that's one of those football fan things where you really look at it and you go, my God, they're like polar opposites. They're not on the surface, but when you talk about what they contribute to a game, what their sort of avenue is, what they like to do, they're just so different.
Yeah, did make me laugh to be fair because I said about when Gordon came on, I turned around to who I was with and I said, "Oh, this is great. Gordon's coming on to strike confidence into the Congo defense," and then he goes and gets two assists. I was like, "Yeah, you've made me look a bit of a mug there, mate." But fair enough. I think I've said to you before, but for me personally, when it comes to England, both Rashford and Gordon should be cameo players. I'm not confident in either of them starting, to be honest with you. I think both of them are good for a good 20-minute stint. And I think we've kind of seen that. It's been proven with Gordon coming on last night and playing 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever, and getting the two assists. Rashford came on in the first game for the last sort of 20 minutes and bagged a goal. So I don't really know who else we could play there as a starting position, but yeah, I think both of them plays for me are good cameo plays.
I don't disagree, and I think last night's game potentially suited Gordon better. There is that case of okay, who starts? Well, there is an element of who are you playing against? Who's he going to come up against? What is the best route to go down in that sense on the left? And I just, you know, Edward said the exact same thing when Gordon came on, and I just said, hang on a minute. I'm not gonna lie, like everyone gave me credit after the game because I was right. I said, hang on a minute. This could be Gordon's game. We know how good he is. We've seen that he's been very good with an England shirt. And I'm not just talking about for Newcastle, but with an England shirt. And like those friendlies before the World Cup started, he was our best player. We know he has quality. And I thought, do you know what? This might be a game where he can shine. And he came on and he did exactly that. He did exactly what you want your left winger to do. And he actually ended up getting the assist for Kane's equaliser.
I could talk about this for the next hour, but I'm not going to because obviously we're short of time today anyway. But Madueke, I genuinely, and I know I said this about Spence and saying it's harsh. I don't want to see him play for England. I really don't. He had unbelievably annoyed me so much last night. He had flashes, he had moments, but his end product, man, he just runs to the byline and then he's got nowhere to go. I could not believe how bad of a game he had last night.
Do you know what? It's refreshing to hear that because sometimes I do question myself. And, I live in a house that we're all West Ham fans. So we're all feeling a bit bitter that Jared Bowen didn't go to the World Cup. It's nice to hear that because sometimes you do question it and you do think to yourself, is it claret tinted glasses that I'm not enjoying Madueke play? Because I know Bowen could do a different thing. He could offer something different. I'm glad to hear you think the same thing because I don't I don't get excited when he gets on the ball. When Jude Bellingham gets on the ball, I get excited. I think, what's he going to do? Madueke, you could almost guarantee what he's going to do. If I'm Mexico right now, and I'm pretty certain Madueke is going to start again, because I don't think Saka's got 90 in him. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. I think Madueke might start. If I'm Mexico, I am literally just saying, right, we know exactly what he's going to do. So just do that. Just defend that. You know exactly what he's going to do in every situation. That makes our right side pretty much null and void because what's he going to do? Like you said, it's so predictable and excuse me, it's just it's awful to watch, isn't it?
I was, mate, honestly, I calmed down so much. I was raging last night with him. I was like, I don't ever want to see him play in England shirt again. I was unbelievably annoyed. I think the whole right side of the game just didn't really work for England last night. But yeah, I think there was a lot of slow and sloppy play. There was a lot of misplaced passes. Uh, Coming towards the end of the half, the penalty shout. What do you think?
It's a penalty for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's a
I
penalty
wanted
for me.
to I wanted to ask you a question, right? If that's Messi,
Mm,
is that given?
yes,
Yeah, I think it is as well.
yeah,
I think the referees have done the homework because this is not the first time Harry Kane's tried this sort of stuff either. Harry Kane does know what he's doing when it comes to that. I don't think as well with the sort when he knocked it around the keeper, the pace he had on it. I don't think he was going to get there. So he knows full well what he's doing, but there is contact.
yeah. And for me, I don't understand the argument because it's the keeper who brings him down. He knocks it to the side. And look, we don't know whether he'd have gotten to it. We don't. But he did everything he could to show his intention was to stay on his feet and go for that ball.
Well,
The keeper is the person that stops him doing that.
I noticed as well. I think if you maybe watch it back, and I've not really heard many people sort of pick this up. People are saying, "Oh, he's falling before the Cooper even comes out." If you look, I'm fairly certain. I'm sure the defender that was chasing Harry Kane actually like nudges him in the back, which sends him forward
Mm.
anyway. Which don't get me wrong, Harry Kane was looking for the penalty. Of course, he was looking for it. But I'm thinking again. You feel free to call me wrong on it. You might have to have another look. But I'm sure that the defender sort of gives him a little bit of a push in the back.
But I also think, yeah, he's looking for the penalty because he's a striker and he's going to go down for any sort of contact. But I also think, had he been able to stay on his feet, he probably would have done because that would have been an open goal. That's what I mean. I don't think I don't think that ball is far enough away. I don't think that touch is strong enough for me to think he knows his only avenue now is to get a penalty, and so he's just going to go down. I didn't get that vibe from that situation. I got the vibe that if he could have stayed on his feet, he probably would have done. But the contact was there, so you go down. I mean, I'd be upset if my striker didn't.
Yeah, and like I said to you, it's annoying that if that's Messi or Ronaldo even or something like that, I think the penalty is being given there. Anyway, England go into the half 1-0 down. Should have been 2-0 really because there was a great opportunity for Congo. It came off the post, which should have been buried. To be fair, we should have easily been 2-0 down. And I think the second half can be pretty much summed up fairly similar to the first because up until the 74th minute, I think it was, or 75th minute or whatever, it was sort of the same sort of stuff on it really. Again, sloppy and we looked better. We did look a bit better in the first half, and we was knocking on the door, which I think Congo was struggling to keep up with towards the end of the game. But yeah, eventually Harry Kane nods home for 1-1. Do you want to break that goal down for me?
Yeah, well, Declan Rice is in a right back at this point, and he makes a brilliant run. He gets himself well in the mix. It's not a great cross into the box, but he does get across into the box. It's too deep and it ends up with Gordon, but Gordon just sort of props it into the box. And it's perfect Kane territory. You know, he's not sticking it on top of the defenders. He's sticking it sort of just about a yard, 2 yards behind, like in front of them. Sorry, not behind them, but in front of them, and that just gives Kane the perfect opportunity to get his head on it because it's just so beautifully timed. It's so beautifully placed, if you like. I thought he it was a great cross in, and I thought it was a great finish. And I I feel bad saying that I think the keeper could do better, but based on his saves,
Well, to
I
be
think the keeper could
honest,
do better.
to be honest, I think out of everything, that was probably the easiest one to save. And that's the one that he conceded, which is just typical, isn't it? I think, but I still take nothing away from him because, like I said earlier, if it wasn't for him, I think Congo could have been 3 or 4 down. To be fair, but yeah, it was unfortunate. Uh, And then obviously it comes towards the 85th minute, I think it was, something like that, where Harry Kane, what a strike, by the way. It's some goal, this.
Some goal. I mean, it's Gordon again, isn't it? It's Gordon again. I mean, Bellingham. I want to start from Bellingham because he makes a brilliant one. I think Anderson puts the ball in to Bellingham. It's beautifully timed. It's just perfect. And Bellingham's running down the left hand side. It doesn't work out for Bellingham, and it falls to Gordon. Gordon sort of can't sort his feet out. You're thinking, is he going to shoot? He can't sort his feet out to shoot, but he does this really dinky pass, and I loved it. I think it was really aware of where Kane was going to be at that point. He just this lovely dinky pass to Kane, and Kane just it's just a phenomenal finish.
When that ball fell to Kane's feet, because there was a little time with Kane getting himself positioned and before hitting striking the ball, there was no doubt in my mind that this wasn't going to be a goal. This was prime Harry Kane.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, I feel like from that angle, I don't think I had that vibe because I think that angle is really difficult. But
Yeah,
look, you know Harry Kane much more than I do, and you're right, that is a bit of a classic Harry Kane finish.
yeah. No, you're right. You're right to question it because obviously the angle and it was still a fair way out. Was he quite far out still, edge of the box?
Yeah, I
Sort of.
think so.
Yeah. And but yeah, when it fell to him, I just had this feeling. I was like, I've seen the script before. This is getting buried, and I did not expect it to get buried in the way it did. He put his foot through it, man. But
Mm.
yeah, you can't tell me that he's not one of the best strikers that we've ever seen. Like, tell you what, not bad for a one season wonder.
He is just, and I literally mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast. Sometimes when you get to these knockout stages, you rely on that star power, and that's what we did last night. We would not be in this competition still had it not been for Harry Kane. And yeah, he just pulled it out of the bag, and he's just phenomenal. And I'll have no bad words said about him.
Just very quickly because it is kind of hypothetical. But if it wasn't for Harry Kane and he couldn't make this World Cup or whatever, and we had a Watkins in there, do you think England would have made it out of the group?
Um, oh, that's a really interesting question.
I
What
really think
do you
England,
think?
I really think England struggle without Harry Kane.
I probably do too. I mean, I don't want to say that because I like Watkins as a player as well. I think Watkins can do a job. Watkins can offer you something. So I wouldn't like to say we wouldn't get out of the group. I don't know. Maybe we'd have come second or something in the group.
Yeah. I think. Look, yeah, to be fair, there's things that Watkins can do that's probably more beneficial than what it is having Kane there. I mean, Watkins isn't going to drop as deep as what Kane does, which
Hmm.
still it unbelievably frustrates me when people have a go at Harry Kane for that. I'm like, have you not watched him play for the last 10 years? He's made a career out of doing this. But like it's different because I've spent 10 years watching Harry Kane.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it still annoys me. But yeah, I do think England struggle without Kane. Anything else you want to bring up?
No, I don't think so. I think that's everything.
Yeah, I wasn't. Look, mate, I'm going to be honest with you. I was not impressed with this performance whatsoever. I think we scraped by again. I think we got fortunate. It's a bit similar to what we said about the sort of Ghana Panama sort of game because like, I think I said this on the last podcast. Teams are not going to fear us at all.
No, and they also know that we don't, that game went perfectly for Congo in many ways because they got an early goal and could sit back. And
Mhm.
what's our worst nightmare?
Yeah, yeah.
That's our worst nightmare. Do you know what I mean? It's not hard to work out what
Well, it's
really
it's
exposes us.
It's mad because I think scoring early should allow us to right. They've scored early. The shackles are off. Just go at them. But we
Hmm.
can't seem to do it. It's like we get to the edge of the box. There's nothing on. Let's pass backwards. Let's pass sideways. It's like keep possession. Let's hold on to it. And there's like no sort of spark. And I thought we'd maybe see something a bit different with Tuchel.
Yeah, and after that Croatia second half, I think we all hoped we'd see something different. But no, I moving on to the, if you don't mind, moving on to the game that's coming up on Monday. I don't have much faith, if I'm honest with you. I think that's going to be a really difficult game.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everyone's quite aware of the altitude that we're playing at compared to everything else. I think it's something like, is it 2,000 feet above sea level or something?
Yeah,
Uh,
something like that.
Mexico haven't conceded a goal yet in this tournament. Mexico are looking good. And sorry, really quick side note, because I think I forgot to mention it. How impressed are you by USA, by the way?
Yeah, they've been excellent. I mean, I'm not shocked because they've got Poch in charge, to be honest with you, and I think you can see that identity shining through. But yeah, I think they've been brilliant. I don't think they go that much further, if I'm honest with you. I think some of the big boys might look. Some of the big boys are being knocked out, so you never know. But yeah, there are teams that I do think will, bring them back
Well,
down to earth, maybe.
it's interesting you say that because you know there's two people that I absolutely adore in football, and Poch is one of them, and the other one being Ange Postecoglou. But I did not expect USA to do as well as they are, even under Poch.
Interesting.
Even I mean, I thought it was a, I thought it was a look. He was filling a gap until he could get a job back at a club level. But to be fair to him, he's absolutely smashing it at USA. Well done. Anyway, back on track. Yeah, Mexico. I do think we struggle, and I'm going to throw a prediction out there. I think we lose 2-0.
Look, I don't see. I think historically we go into it as favourites. Currently, I don't think we do. I don't think we do. They've got that home advantage, and Mexico will make the most of that home advantage. It's
Am
going
I
to be tough
right?
in the conditions.
Am I right in thinking I've heard somewhere that they haven't lost there in like, or they've lost one game in like 8 years or something in that stadium? It's
Yeah,
mental.
and I think the last English team um to beat them in that stadium, or no, the last English team to win in that stadium, I think was Sheffield Wednesday in like the 80s or something.
Well, okay. And do you know what? If Mexico had the capacity for it, I'd love to see them host a full World Cup rather than it being
Yeah.
spread everywhere. I think that would be incredible. I think we have seen it before, haven't we? Back when it wasn't as big as it is now. But yeah, I'd love to see a full World Cup there if they had the capacity for it.
Yeah, me too. I think they're fabulous nation and they've really shown up for this World Cup.
Absolutely. What does England need to do? What's your thoughts going into skim?
I think it needs to be shackles off. I think it needs to be actually we are the ones that need to go into this game and prove a point. And I don't I think oh, it's really difficult, isn't it? It's really difficult. I don't know what to suggest because the squad's not going to change between now and then. We don't know if Reece James is going to be fit. I doubt it. Um, I think we're going to struggle. I think we're going to struggle, and I can't really see any combination that doesn't struggle because the combination he puts out shouldn't struggle, but they do. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Um, do you want to give us? I'm going to assume. I think I know who it is. Do you want to give us a man of the match for the game against Congo?
Yeah, I think I have to go Harry Kane.
Yeah, what a stupid question, it really. Who else was it going to be? That man is unbelievable. I love that man. But yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning, Grace. It's going to be a hell of a challenge in it, but we will be here to break it down. Probably we're not doing it that time in the morning, but we'll do it probably Monday night. I reckon we'll speak about it later. But yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, hit follow, do whatever you need to do, on whatever podcast platform you are listening on, and you can join us for the breakdown against Mexico. And hopefully, we are still in it. Grace, another fantastic podcast, and we will see you on Monday.
See you later.